Hi, my name's Doug Belshaw, and this is Commonplace. Create resources, share them across the open social web. It's a resource collection manager, but it's much more exciting than that. Let me show you. So this is particularly useful in teaching and learning. It's particularly useful when you're doing research, and it's useful for when you're curating things within a community. So you find something, let's say it's a link, let's say it's a resource, an openly licensed resource. You add it into a collection, and then that's automatically going to be shared across the Fediverse, so things like Mastodon, also on Bluesky and via RSS. So it means the people who are following that collection see it in their timeline, their feed, and in their RSS reader immediately. So you log into Commonplace with your existing identity. That might be a Fediverse ID, like Mastodon or Coma or Bluesky or PixelFed or OnFire. You can log in with Bluesky, and you can also even log in with your blog via Indie. So we're at version 0.7 at the moment, and there's lots of things available. So you can add resources and links. There's all different kinds of features and functionality, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And in future releases, we want to add collection forking, we want to add multi-instance federated search, and a lot more. So let's have a look. So this is Commonplace in dark mode. You can also choose to look at it in light mode. And this is collections of resources. So let's have a look inside a collection. So this is just a random collection. So let's add a resource to this collection. You can add links, and also you can upload files. So let's upload a file. Now, this particular PDF is called Community Organizing is Fun. I can add in tags. And I know that this one is CC by NCND, which means Creative Commons by, as in attribution, non-commercial, and no derivatives. And you can either say that you create things yourself, or it's Creative Commons license, including public domain dedication, which is CC0. Otherwise, it's not for uploading to Commonplace. Now, obviously, if you make your own version of Commonplace, you can change that. You can have whatever licenses you want. But on the default version of Commonplace, that is what's available. You can add more details in here if you want, including links and where to find the original. But for the moment, I'll just press upload. And there we go. Community organizing is fun. And there we go. That's the PDF which I've uploaded. Over time, there will be lots and lots of resources within collections. So, links and resources, all that kind of stuff. And it might be that people want to say that something is more or less valuable to them. So they might upvote it, a bit like on Reddit. And if they do that, then you can change the sort order of a collection to popular, and then the most popular things will come to the top. You can also sort this manually, so you can move things up and down, and you can do it by the most recent. Now you'll notice here it says open to all members. That's because I've opened this particular collection so that anybody can add a resource to the random collection. I can change that if I go to Edit Collection. I can change the title and description and the tags and the visibility. I can say whether it's openly curated, and I can also add a cover image. So I'm going to do that now. There we go. We've got a cover image for the collection. So if I'm not part of a collection at the moment, if I'm not a curator of a collection, say AI reading, then I can go into here and I can request that I would like to be a curator of it. So there we go. I'm going to press request curator access, and then John will get a notification to say that I would like to be a curator of this particular collection. There's also a For You page. Now you can see here that there's not only all of the different things that have been added to collections that I've been following, but there's also flags that I might need to deal with. So I'm going to flag something else so you can see how it works. So if I go into, another collection here, and I flag, say, this for a particular reason, I might say it's spam or a broken link or it's a copyright issue, let's say that. You get thanked for your report. And then when I go into the admin interface, you can see that there are a couple of things that need my attention. It's also on my For You screen. So if I go into admin, I can go into moderation, and I can either hide the resource because, yes, it is inappropriate, I need to deal with it, or I can just dismiss it. So I'm going to dismiss both of those because they're not real flags, and then they disappear from my For You page. I can search, so I can go back to find that random one if I want to. Eventually, we're going to have federated search, so across all of the different Commonplace instances. So I'll go back to admin for a second and show you what's available on there. You can see that different people have logged in different means. So some people have logged in through, say, Mastodon on ActivityPub. Some people have logged in via Bluesky. John's logged in via NDAuth via his blog. And if you're an admin, then you want to keep this safe. Obviously, if you're curating links and resources, there's a vector for harm there. So we want to make sure that this is safe. So I've already shown you the flags. You can also have a look at abuse reports. So you can see here, I've just been testing the abuse reports and dismiss that. But you can report abuse whether or not you've already got an account here. That's important. If you see something, then you should say something about it. So if I go back into here, I can also see takedown requests. Now, it might be that you decide that your Commonplace instance, you need to be verified or you need to be approved before you get an account on Commonplace. That's where this would come in. But at the moment, that's not available on this instance because this is available for anyone to sign in. If I go to settings, then I can change the name and the description of the instance. I can put in the code of conduct email, and that will auto-populate the default code of conduct. And you can see here that the link is automatically put in there. And this has been taken, I think this is a pretty good code of conduct. It's a reasonably short one, but it's taken from the Contributor Covenant and also learns from the excellent Bonfire Network's community guidelines. It's under CC BY 4.0, so you can change that if you want. Well, the default is pretty good. You can decide where you want to store preview images. Do you want to store them directly or serve them via Content Delivery Network? How big do you want them to be? Also, do you want things to be hidden after 3 flags, which is the default? Do you want things to be automatically hidden after 1 person flags it, etc.? You can get email notifications if you set up Mailgun. You can also just use SMTP if you want. And that means that admins will get notifications if there are abuse reports, that kind of thing. And also you can say how big you want the maximum file upload size to be. Default is 10 and per user quota to be 100, but obviously you can increase or decrease that if you want. You can effectively defederate from other parts of the Fediverse by not allowing them. You can silence things and defederate. And also you can introduce URL block lists, which will be useful for sharing across Commonplace and across the Fediverse of bad actors. So you can also look at people's profiles. This is being pulled in automatically from my Bluesky profile. You can see the collections I'm part of. You can also go to the collections like I showed you before, and you can see what you have saved. So you can see here I've saved a couple of collections and I've saved some resources. So if I go to another one here, say Moodle resources, and I save that, then that is now going to appear there in my saved collections. And I will then now get updates on my For You page for anything which is added to those collections over time. The last thing to show you is that you can follow anything on Commonplace, so the whole instance or collections, via this little icon here. So you can grab an RSS feed for the whole instance. You can follow on the Fediverse. I need to do a little bit of work on the Bluesky follows, but just to show you in a moment how it works on the Fediverse, that's the whole instance links. So if I just have a look at one of these collections, which I'm already following, which is digital literacies, you can see here it's got resources in and links in. Then if I click on there, you can see it's digital-literacies at commonplace.dynamicskillset.com. So here I am now on Mastodon, and if I search for digital-literacies at commonplace.dynamicskillset.com, here I am. And you can see here that I can follow everything on that particular collection. Oh, look, there's me, lots of years ago. It'll take me through to that particular resource. The last thing I want to show you is the repository. So this is for if you want to set up your own version of Commonplace. If you just want to experiment with it, head to commonplace.dynamicskillset.com and just get started. Log in with your Fediverse account like Mastodon or Bluesky, or if you've got NDAuth set up, log in with that and just have a play around, see what you think. Let's have a look at the repository if you want to set up your own version of Commonplace. So I'm hosting the code for Commonplace on something called FramerGit. It's essentially GitLab pages, which is being provided by an organization called Framersoft in France. So you can see here, this is the code, and it's got a description, etc. It tells you all the different bits of information. The most important thing is if you go to the wiki over here on the right-hand side, and it tells you how to build, install, and run Commonplace. Now, Commonplace is using Go, and it's a single binary, which you can put on a server. It's really easy to install, but also you can just get an LLM like Claude and point it at this repo and say, install this over there, and it'll tell you what to do. So it's got lots of pages, tells you how to install it, build it from source if you need to do that, etc. I'm using a Cloudflare tunnel, so I'm actually hosting Commonplace on my little Mac Mini in my office and using a Cloudflare tunnel to link to it. On the installation page, it tells you which particular binary you need for different platforms. I'm using a Mac Mini, so I'm using Apple Silicon, but there's different versions for all different platforms. So whatever you need, just in you go and do that. So I would love it if people want to build on this. If you want to add additional features or anything like that, just go to work items. That's a bit like GitHub issues, and you can just add a new thing in there. You can just at me on Mastodon or on Bluesky or anything like that. Just search for me, Doug Belshaw, and give me some requests. Or I'm accepting pull requests as well. So if you want to add in particular features or functionality, then let me know. It might be that that's just something that you want to add, in which case you can have and maintain a fork. But it might be something which I think is useful for everybody and should be in the kind of core of Commonplace. It is worth saying that I have built this entirely using Claude code. So Claude Opus 4.6 for planning and Claude Sonnet 4.6 for implementing. I'm not a developer. I'm a product manager. And so if you don't like AI, if you don't want to use tools which are built by AI, don't use it. But also don't complain about it. So I'm really happy with this, and I'd love it if you used it. Cheers for now.